All right, let's dive in. Today we're talking about a skill that can seriously change how you learn, work, and even think. We're going to unlock how to read smarter, not just harder.
You know that feeling, right? You get to the bottom of a page, your eyes have definitely moved over every single word, but your brain, well, it's retained absolutely nothing. It's that super frustrating moment of zombie reading. We've all been there.
But here's the good news. The problem isn't you, it's your method. We're talking about the big difference between passive and active reading, and today we're going to make that switch for good. So, this really gets to the heart of it. A passive reader is kind of like a spectator. The words just float on by like you're looking out a train window. An active reader, though, you're in the driver's seat. You are in control, you're asking questions, and you're having a real conversation with what you're reading.
Okay, so let's break this down. Active reading isn't some magic trick. It's a whole process. It's about turning reading from this one-way street where information just flows at you into a dynamic, interactive activity where you're a real participant, not just sitting on the sidelines.
So, how in the world do you become an active reader? Well, you start by building your toolkit, and these are the core actions you can take to totally transform your comprehension. And we're talking about way more than just, reading the words. It's about actually marking up the text, taking notes, always asking yourself why the author wrote this. It's about breaking big ideas into smaller chunks, creating little mental movies of what's happening, and tying it all back to what you already know.
All right, let's start building that toolkit with two absolutely essential strategies for speed and efficiency: skimming and scanning. Think of these as your first response tools you use before you decide to read every single word.
Now, the difference between these two is all about your purpose. Here's how to think about it. Skimming is like looking at a map to get the general layout of a city. Scanning, on the other hand, is like using that same map to find one specific street name. Both are fast, but their goals are completely different.
This analogy is just perfect. When you skim, you're getting the plot, the main characters, the setting, what's happening, but you're totally skipping the line-by-line dialogue and all those subtle details. It's all about getting that big picture and fast.
Now, skimming isn't just random, chaotic, fast reading. It's actually a structured process. You start with the big signposts, the titles and subheadings. Then you just grab the first and last sentence of each paragraph. This lets you build a really quick mental outline of the whole text without getting bogged down in every little detail.
Scanning is even more laser-focused. First, you have to know exactly what your target is: a name, a date, a specific number. Then you just let your eyes fly down the page, ignoring everything else until, bam, you spot it. It's basically like hitting Control F on a web page, but you're doing it with your own brain.
Okay, so once you've done your initial flyby with a quick skim or scan, it's time to go deeper. Now we get to the real power tools that unlock the true meaning of a text, reading between the lines.
Just take a close look at this sentence. The author never, not once, uses the words nervous or scared. But you know exactly how she's feeling, don't you?
That little mental leap you just made? That's called inference. And honestly, this is where the magic of real comprehension happens. It's the art of connecting the author's clues with your own life experience to understand the story that isn't being spelled out for you.
And the other huge power tool in your kit? Summarizing. This forces you to actually process what you've read, figure out what's important versus what's just fluff, and then restate it in your own words. Here's a pro tip. If you can't summarize it, you probably haven't truly understood it. Okay, so let's put this stuff to the test. Take a look at Extract A, the one about coral reefs. It's throwing facts at you, figures like 60%, and talking about causes. Those are all massive clues that tell you it's nonfiction. Now check out the others. Can you spot the clues that tell you if they're fiction or nonfiction? This is a key skill, recognizing what the author is trying to do.
All right, now let's flip this around and make it all about you. The goal here isn't just to learn about these ideas, it's to create a personal plan, a kind of roadmap for your own reading journey.
This right here is a super simple but really powerful self-assessment. Just be honest with yourself. Where are you right now? Red, amber, or green? Look, this isn't a test, right? It's just a starting point. By seeing your weaker areas, you know exactly what you need to focus on practicing.
And that really brings us to the main takeaway. This was never about becoming the world's fastest reader. It's about becoming a smarter one, a more strategic, more engaged, and way more effective reader. It's all about reading with a purpose.
So,
With this new toolkit in your back pocket, the next page you see isn't just a block of words anymore, is it? It's an opportunity. It's a conversation just waiting to happen. So my question for you is, what are you going to discover when you start reading between the lines?